The year's 2025 and the gaming world is at war. On one side, the general public, who doesn't get what the big deal is.
If there truly are people that are dropping off of the show, they're cowards.
They didn't like strong women. They don't like a lesbian.
And on the other side, gamers.
Well, the attacks on gamers are just beginning.
The wokest episode in television history.
At the center stands Neil Druckmann.
And all I'll say is at the end of the day, you're way less important. And some of you are not important at all. It's laughable. We send it to each other as jokes some of the time.
The beta male, the male feminist.
A once universally respected visionary. Now, the most divisive figure in gaming.
This is hilarious. I saw this on Reddit.
I'm gonna kill your kid in front of you. How vile.
Turning a game studio known for only making classics into one that only makes remasters and news headlines.
This to me does feel actually disrespectful, and I mean that legitimately.
And to think that it all started with an idea he had in college. It's 2004, and Neil needs to pitch a zombie game to the father of zombie movies, George Romero.
We had a school project where we had to pitch game ideas to George Romero.
So the idea was for this kind of the story.
His idea is about a cop protecting a young girl. In the game, the player switches between the two characters to force empathy.
I pitched it to George and he hated it. So I just sat on it.
After getting a job as a programmer at the game studio Naughty Dog, he continues to work on these ideas in the background. Until Naughty Dog promotes Neil, along with Uncharted 2 director Bruce Straley, to direct a new project.
Our task was to reboot Jak and Daxter.
We started to realize that it was not going to do justice to the franchise that the fans had fallen in love with. It would be shifting it so far in a new direction.
I'm like, well, I have this thing I've been working on. What if we try to do this?
Eventually, this turns into a game based on his zombie idea. The old cop becomes a smuggler named Joel, who's tasked with escorting a girl that's immune to the virus named Ellie across the country to people that are working on a cure. Some of Neil's other pitches include Joel being a hardened criminal seeking redemption, a virus that only infects women,
and you found the one girl that it didn't infect, and that was Ellie. And the reason it failed is because it was a misogynistic idea.
A revenge plot where Joel's old partner Tess hunts him across the country, and a climactic scene where Ellie comes in and saves Joel from being murdered by Tess. The game's director, Bruce Straley, rejects the revenge elements. Quote, "Revenge just wasn't a strong enough motivation for someone to travel all the way across an apocalyptic country for an entire year." At the time, Neil agrees. "I'm pretty dark. I wanted to kill Elena in Uncharted 2. Bruce is the one that would balance me and push for more levity." The partnership works. It's a delicate tug of war, but the end result is lightning in a bottle.
People are constantly critiquing each other, and that's the culture we try to cultivate here at Naughty Dog, because it helps make the game better, even if sometimes it can be frustrating and hurt your ego, but at the end of the day, it's all about the game.
The game launches in June 2013, and both critics and players are floored.
Making this the 4th game ever to earn my highest rating.
The gameplay is pretty similar to their Uncharted games.
It's like a movie. Actually, my involvement is nothing.
But the story is universally praised as a step forward for video games.
Sarah's dead.
Don't do this to me, baby.
The zombie win.
By the end of the game, players are empathizing so hard, to the point of it almost feeling traumatic.
Could you put your life on the line for me? Could you be the last of us?
And the ambiguous ending sparks countless debates online.
And so we don't want to come out and say this is what we intend, or this is definitely the answer, because it is open.
Suddenly, Neil gets universally praised as a storytelling genius.
It sticks in your mind even deeper on one level than a great work of literature or a cinematic masterpiece to some extent.
But their success comes with consequences. In 2014, right in the middle of production on Uncharted 4, Amy Hennig, one of the key creative forces behind Uncharted, leaves Naughty Dog under controversial circumstances.
It was very upsetting. Amy had been replaced. I don't know whether this is public knowledge or not, but that was not her choice. It was the company's choice.
At the same time, Neil gets promoted to fill Amy's spot and reworks everything.
Is it tough for you to go into the set and work with Neil Druckmann, or?
You just have to be professional and try and leave your opinions and resentments outside, yeah.
The development crunch is so brutal that nearly 70% of designers quit after shipping due to creative burnout. Among them, Bruce Straley, Neil's creative partner and filter for his darker impulses, is gone. As Neil rises in the ranks, he grows more comfortable with confrontation. After getting some backlash for including LGBT content in The Last of Us DLC, he takes to Twitter. For each one of these bigoted and sad posts, I get thousands of positive ones from amazing fans. Some might say arguing on the internet is unprofessional, and it could leave you vulnerable to having your personal information stolen. That's why you should be using Surfshark, the sponsor of this video. It keeps your online data safe and private by encrypting your internet activity. Whether you're at home or using public Wi-Fi, Surfshark prevents your personal information from falling into the wrong hands. It also allows you to bypass geo restrictions and censorship, so that you can access movies, TV, and websites that might normally be blocked in your country. You'd be surprised at just how many movies you're missing out on. Unlike other VPNs, Surfshark allows you to protect an unlimited number of devices with a single subscription, meaning you can protect your phones, computer, tablet, and even smart TV, all simultaneously. Surfshark also has a bunch of other helpful tools, like Surfshark Alert, which notifies you immediately if your email, passwords, or credit card information ever appear in a data breach, so you can sleep peacefully. Visit surfshark.com/SirW or enter promo code SirW for 4 months free. Surfshark also offers a 30-day money-back guarantee, so there's no risk in trying it out today. By doing so, you're also helping me make more videos. While arguing with fans might take a toll on Neil, it doesn't affect his standing at Naughty Dog. In fact, in 2017, he's promoted to vice president of the company. Now he has full creative control and a fresh team of developers. It's time to get honest.
The writer's responsibility. You have no social responsibilities in your writing. The only thing you have a responsibility is to tell the truth.
Just in time to start working on their next big project, The Last of Us, Part 2. The whole world applauds. However, some fans remain skeptical. Did they even need to make a second game? Wasn't the ambiguous ending part of the point?
And so we don't want to come out and say this is what we intend, or this is definitely the answer, because it is open. I know there's a lot of people that feel this trepidation about revisiting what that ending means. No one loves these characters more than we do, and we would not do this if we didn't feel like we had the right idea.
Right off the bat, it's clear this is a Neil game. All of Neil's rejected ideas for the first game are back. The revenge plot, the switching between characters mechanic, and his idea to kill a main character from Uncharted 2. The extreme crunch is also back.
Where are we on getting physics on these strands?
We are working on it.
So for next time? For next time?
Yes.
They released a story trailer and gameplay demo, and the hype train is now at full speed. The visuals are stunning. Every square inch of the world is drenched in detail.
Dude, they did the lips so well. Yeah, that actually looks really good. Wow. Yeah, how's my tongue going in there? That's actually... seriously, that's really, really good attention to detail. And oh god.
Nevertheless, even with just breadcrumbs, the online debates are already heating up.
There started to be these rumors about the game, false narratives that the game has homophobic Christians, and that's who you fight. And then there's like a series of like YouTubers and websites that just run with this stuff.
Neil knows the creative choices aren't going to please everybody, but as long as no one inside spoils anything, he thinks the backlash will be manageable.
And I was able to dismiss it, and then the leaks happened. And then all of a sudden it's like a flood.
With only a couple months until the game's release, someone leaks the biggest spoiler in the game, Joel's death scene in full. Plus the fact that you play as his killer for around half of the game. The YouTube video gets taken down at around 1,000 views, but that's enough. Neil braces for impact.
Just want to say on behalf of everyone at Naughty Dog, a lot of you have sent us very sweet, encouraging messages along that time that have been really helpful. We make this thing.
And that was the lowest point in my life.
If the leaks are true, this game can kiss my...
The destruction of several characters that people are very attached to.
And like those voices jumped on Joel dying and the fact that you played Joel's killer. And then the fact that they said that like Joel's killer is transgender.
If you think that game could be spoiled by a couple screenshots, really?
No matter what you've seen or heard.
After you hear them, you're not going to want to pick up this game.
Or read, nothing compares to playing this thing from beginning to end.
Joke throughout production would say is like the downfall of Naughty Dog.
This is it.
This is the downfall. This game is the downfall of Naughty Dog.
What? The game releases in June 2020, and within hours of the game's release, hundreds of negative reviews start flooding the game's page.
Naughty Dog just went full The Last Jedi on this one. Okay.
Considering the game is supposed to be 20 to 30 hours long, the number of negative reviews raises some eyebrows. In response, some people even publish research articles dedicated to proving it's a coordinated attack. Sony starts allegedly taking down hundreds of reviews,
attacking gamers again, which, who's surprised? It's kind of funny that they'll delete the negative ones, right? But they won't delete the positive ones.
This guy's really salty that the game didn't go the way he wanted it.
Metacritic also implements a 72-hour waiting period for future reviews. Attacks are coming at Neil from all sides, but rather than letting it pass over, Neil goes full offense.
And all I'll say is at the end of the day, to all our critics, we listen to that stuff and we digest a lot of it, but you're way less important. And some of you are not important at all when you're kind of shout and threaten and doing all that stuff. It's laughable. We send it to each other as jokes some of the time.
Look, I get it. You love these fictional characters, but they're not real. You do know that, right? Guys, don't be scared of therapy. Think of it like working out for your brain. But soon, bad reviews aren't the only thing on Neil's plate. Some of the more observant fans notice lies in the marketing, mainly that Joel is added in post to make it look like he's a bigger part of the game. They also make him look different.
I don't know why they would do that. Just have scenes in the trailer with Joel in them. That's not hard to do. They went out of their way to cut clips to make it look like Joel is involved in the scene.
Fans call it false advertising, but Neil says he just didn't want to spoil the surprise.
Metal Gear Solid 2 is one of my favorite games. And I know some people hated it. I loved when I played Metal Gear Solid 2 and I saw those trailers. You were deceived, right? Because they moved boss battles around. You always saw Snake. They never showed you Raiden. And I remember like, oh, I'm playing a whole new character. This is awesome.
However, fans bring up an IGN article from 2018 that quotes Neil as saying Ellie will be the only playable character. To make the situation worse, as the Game Awards approach, when The Last of Us Part 2 is nominated for Game of the Year, Neil tweets, "The Last of Us fans, activate. For every vote you cast for The Last of Us Part 2, a hater loses their caps lock."
This wasn't a good tweet. First of all, it's a very passive-aggressive tweet, particularly with his emoji at the end.
He apologizes, saying it was all a misunderstanding. He doesn't want to come across as someone who dislikes criticism.
My tweet was meant as a joke, RE trolls. Essentially, we're living in his head rent-free.
But none of his former fans buy it. Multiple YouTubers report receiving strikes from Neil over videos critical of the game or the leaks.
Not only did Naughty Dog strike down my YouTube channel along with so many others, they also are responsible for my Twitter account being taken down.
Come September 2022, Neil's ongoing battle with fans hasn't died down, and Naughty Dog hasn't announced any new games. Fans are getting impatient, but it gets worse. In 2022, they announced a $70 remake of The Last of Us Part 1. $70? For a remake of a $20 game that's already been remastered. Well, at least it's coming to PC. Hopefully the port is okay. Oh boy. Players booted up, and it's well, after over an hour of waiting for it to build shaders, frame rate issues on the most high-end computers, textures not loading properly, and cutscenes where all the characters are wet. How does this one even work?
If you plan on buying The Last of Us 1 remake, you're an idiot.
You don't deserve to call yourself a gamer or ever play video games again. In fact, you don't even deserve to peek at a video game ever again. And quite frankly, I hope your hands cramp up.
After 2 years, this is it. Sales disappoint. Critics call it unnecessary, and the goodwill in Neil's haters all but evaporates.
Druckmann became an egomaniac after The Last of Us, and lost his sense of humility.
Fast forward a year, and things aren't looking much better. In terms of games, just remasters. But Neil feels good. He's been promoted to head of Naughty Dog, and HBO launches The Last of Us TV series. Before it's released, Neil announces major changes to the story, with no input from Bruce Straley as far as anyone knows.
For example, the Bill sequence works very well in the game because you're fighting the infected with Bill. I think if we had adapted that exactly as is for the show, maybe a thrilling episode, but dramatically would have been a lot less interesting than where we've ended up, which we changed it quite a bit.
His ex-fans are primed to hate it, but in the end it's actually pretty good. In fact, HBO says it's one of their most popular shows that year. Neil becomes somewhat of a mainstream celebrity. New fans start pouring in, game sales spike, and he finally feels like he has some people on his side. Until season 2. It turns out, fans of the show who haven't played the games have no idea what's in store.
We're gonna kill him with a golf club?
Guys, I don't know what to do right now.
I didn't think it was gonna happen this soon.
And after Joel's big moment, public opinion shifts. IGN gives the episode their lowest rating in history.
The result is a competent, often thrilling hour of television, but one that ultimately underserves the larger story and the characters it forever changes.
Viewership starts to fall off, and the season finale sees a 55% drop from the first season.
You have to expect that some people would just switch off after that, and people have switched off in their droves. But not only that,
in December 2024, fans finally get a brief glimpse of something new. This time Neil has an executive producer role. But that doesn't make it void of controversy.
Bro, I saw that Intergalactic the Heretic Prophet literally had more dislikes than Concord.
Actress for Naughty Dog's upcoming game Intergalactic Heretic Prophet mocked gamers by sharing pro-DEI fan art. These are games that definitely are anti-gamer. These companies hate you. They have to be boycotted.
But Neil says not to worry, that this next game is going to deal with a much less controversial subject matter.
Oh, we made a game with The Last of Us 2. We made certain creative decisions that got us a lot of hate. So the joke is like, you know what, let's do something that people won't care as much about. Let's make a game about faith and religion.
Whether it's any good or not, we've yet to see, but it's clear Neil's not taking his foot off the brake anytime soon.